it's Jilly from Jilly's Creative Corner. You are going to hear a horse neighing this morning through my video. I've waited as long as possible, but he's waiting for his friend to come back to the field and he's not happy. We actually live on a farm that has DIY liveries, so sorry about the horse. His name's Bodie and he's not a happy boy. Anyway, see, he's agreeing with me. So today I'm going to show you how to make this beautiful box. It wasn't my idea. I saw it a few years ago on YouTube from Anne's Happy Stampers. So a shout out to Anne. Thank you so much for inspiring me to make one like yours. It looks spectacular, and it is, but it's very easy. You know, it's going to be very easy for you to make one. So it actually fits a big 100ml hand cream. So if I just show you. Fits in there beautifully. Close the lid. It's a beautiful way to present your present. And then I've stamped on there, I've put a little label on here, a little something for you, and that's from the Fancy Phrases stamp set, which I used actually last week on my other video. But that's such a useful stamp, that one there, a little something for you. So you can put that on any gift box really. And it also uses the punch. It's a double punch, so it's got a smooth, smaller oval shape, and then it's got the crinkle edged. A very versatile 2-in-1. You can either cut out the bigger one with the frilly edge in a coloured cardstock, and then add the smaller one with the sentiment on it and put the two together. Or if you've got a bigger sentiment like I had, I've just cut it out straight onto the larger punch. And this is the fine art ribbon from the new mini catalogue. It's like a beige colour with flecks of gold running through it, so it matches out the paper with the gold pattern. The pattern paper we're going to be using is called Ornate Garden Speciality Paper, and not all of them, but a lot of them are shiny, so they're gold one side and a colour, and then the flip side it's plain flowery pattern, so no shiny gold bits, so you get to choose, you know, which side you want to use. I just think this looks very special using the gold, but you could equally put the flowered pattern paper on it. This is in the other ones. This is the one I'm going to use today. So I'm going to use the gold with olive green background. This one here is gold with mint macaron background. But the other side of that is the flowers with no shine. But I like a bit of glitter, and I think it just makes it look really special, this box, to have a bit of sparkle on it. So I'm going to crack on with the video because Bodie is not going to shut up. So every now and again you're going to hear a horse whinnying, and he's whinnying for his friend who's gone out for a ride with his owner. So hopefully we'll crack on and he won't be whining too much. So to make this box, as I said, it is really simple. To make the base of the box, you need a piece of coloured cardstock that is 10.5 inches by 8.25 inches. So that's basically for us, for the UK, 8.25 inches is the width of an A4 sheet. So all you've got to do is on the long side, leave the short side alone, and on the long side, cut it down to 10.5 inches. So I'm going to bring in my scoreboard. And on the short side, I'm going to score it at 2 inches, 4 inches, 6 inches, and 8 inches. And then turn it to the long side, and on the long side, 1/2 inch, 2.5 inches, and 8.5 inches. So you can pop your scoreboard away now. So now you're going to burnish all your score lines. So because this is quite a narrow one, just bend it up first before you start trying to get a bone fold on it. So bend it up first and then burnish it. Just burnish them all really well. So all the score lines are now burnished. So you're going to turn to, this is the bottom. So the top bit is where you've got that shorter score line. That is the top. This bit here with no score line, small score line, this is the bottom of your box. So what you're going to do first of all, you're going to cut up, just up to that score line there. But so you've got the fat part of the score line on this little piece here. And then this is the narrow piece at the side. And you're just going to cut in there. So you've got that. And then you're going to do exactly the same this side. So you can cut in there, and then this is the top end, so just cut off this little skinny bit here. So now you have a piece like that, because that in the end is what's going to be shutting your box up, that little bit. You're going to be putting tape on there. So now, so again, you've got this is the bottom, because it doesn't have this extra little piece up here. So you're going to cut up. So cut up alongside. There he goes again. Cut up alongside, so that obviously one of the pieces is going to have the fat bit of score line on. Now I always take mine off. I don't think it lies flat. It gets in the way. So I always, but you can see it's like a slither. It's not a huge amount, and then cut it off. And then do that all the way along. So it's just one side of the score line, and then so it doesn't get in the way. It's the other side of the just straight down though. We're not notching it this time. We are literally going straight down. I know my other videos you need to notch it, but this time we're not going to notch it. We're literally going straight down. Okay, so that's 2. And then the last one. You're only going down to that score line. And just tuck those in like that and cut that off like that. So this is the bottom, and this is how the bottom looks now, with just the pieces of score line gone. Then, as I normally do, I have done a prototype. So this is your piece of paper as it is. So you've done the basic, you've cut that bit there, you've cut that bit there. So now you're going to come in, and this is what it looks like. So that's your bottom bits, and then this bit. So you know that this bit is going to be this bit here. It's going to be that bit. That's the lid, and the bit that tucks in is going to be in there like that. So that is why you leave that one whole, and you leave that alone until we round the corners. You take, so the one next to that one, you'd cut that one down and round the corners. The one next to that one, you cut away completely, and the one at the end, which is by this strip here, you cut down and round the corners like this one. And that is what gives you these bits here. So those tuck in, and that goes down like that. I've actually done a face-to-face class making this box. In my classes, if we're doing boxes, I always give them a piece of basic white to make their own prototype, so that they go home with a prototype. So that they can make it again. And like you see on here, I write on the prototype what it is, where I score it and everything. So then you could just lie that down and just go, right, well, I want to cut that down, I want to cut that off, I want to cut that down, and that one you leave alone. So first of all, I'm going to cut down the side of that one. Boda's not happy, is he? And I'm going to cut down the side of that one. Just to the score line. And because we're getting rid of this one completely, I've made sure that the score line bulk of the score line is on both sides of this. So I've taken it away from there, and it's on both sides of this. So then put that one forward, and on the score line there, you cut that one off. Like that. So at the moment, you've got that. So then with this one, I'm going to come down . So this is the one that is going to stay completely as it is. This one here, we're going to be cutting down, but I'm just going to get rid of that bulky score line there. So I'm just going to go straight down. I'm not going to notch it. I'm going straight down. The reason we don't want to notch it is because we want straight lines to work with when we're doing our corner rounding. Now what I found easy is so that these are actually straight. I know when Anne did hers, she cut them with the scissors, but if you cut with scissors, you can't guarantee that you're going to have a straight line. So then when you come in and try and corner round it, you haven't got a definite corner round. So what I did was I brought my scoreboard in and tuck that one out of the way. You certainly don't want to be chopping that one off. And I put it in at 1 3/4. So it's 1 3/4 on this side, and chopped it straight up. So you've got a definite straight line there. Then I came in with my corner punch. Now you just have to learn to get these bits out of the way so it goes into your corner punch. Well, this one isn't too bad because it's got a long piece before it, so it can go straight in. Nearly chopped it in the wrong place then. I nearly put it in the pretty side. Didn't quite cut it though, thank goodness. So pop that down, and then you're going to tuck that in. And you're going to put this one in. And do that side, you're going to just how you tuck your paper round to get it in level. One more. Right, so now you are looking, there is your prototype, and there is your box. So that's your plain box, which is this bit in here. This is your plain box there. So this is the inside of your box. You can tell the inside because it's where all the thicker score lines are. When you turn it over, it's much smoother than that side where it's quite lumpy. Poor Bodie. I hope they bring him back soon. His little friend's called Dinky. Dinky's not quite as noisy when if Bodie goes out and leaves Dinky at home. He's not quite so noisy, but they've obviously taken Dinks out today, and Bodie's not a happy bunny. But it's literally outside my window. I waited as long as possible to start my video, but I don't think he was going to give up anytime soon. So I just thought I'll carry on, and you can have a musical horse as part of the video. So I'm just putting 2 thin lines of tape. I didn't want to put the thicker one just in case it hung over. I didn't want it to hang over. So this is a 1/8 of an inch tape, this one. So what you do now is take the back of the tape off, fold that down, fold that over, and there's your box together. So those 2 go down, this one goes in, and there's the top of your box there. So now it's going to come to the bottom of the box. So when it comes to the bottom, just make sure, because I think what I'll do is just take the very ends off, because if you can just see, when you fold that one in, it's just touching the line there. So I'm just going to take just a slither off, and it doesn't have to be straight. Now it's going to go in like that. You don't want to take them all off though, because when you come to, what you want to do is think, right, I'm going to fold that one next, I'm going to fold that one next, and then that one. And you want it to be quite neat. You don't have to worry too much, simply because you have got a base. You're going to stick a base on. But you don't really want it hanging off the edge, because then the base is going to sit awkwardly. So don't cut them all off, just cut the first one like that, so it just fits inside. So this is the one we've just cut, because you can see it's a tiny bit shorter there. Just going to pop some Stampin' Seal on the top of that one. So this will be the top of that one, because everything else is going to build up from the top. So we're going in like this. Let's put this down. So that's now got tape on it. So we're going down like that. So that's level there. So I'm going to go in with a side one. So that's onto that one now. So what you can do is open your box and just put your bone folder in and just make sure that it's all caught. And then the rest of it I will use my liquid glue. I just put tape on that first bit, so I'm going to go over with that one then, and then over with that one. So on the top there, I'll put my liquid glue. So I just pop some liquid glue. Again, don't put it too close to the edge, because you don't want it all squishing out the sides. It's not pretty and it's hard to get off. So then I'm going to pop that one down like that. And then put some liquid glue on the top of that one. And pop that one down. So you haven't got anything hanging over the edges. So that is your basic box, which is the bit in there. That is it, and that's what's going to hold. That's what's going to hold your whatever you pop inside. So that fits nicely. So to make the sides, that's these sides here. You need 4 pieces of cardstock, the same colour as your base. Well, I've used the same colour. I guess you could use a contrasting colour. And they are 7.5 inches by 2 inches wide. And then one end, let's bring in my scoreboard. If you don't have a scoreboard, then just do it on your trimmer with your scoring blade. So bring all 4 of them in one at a time and score them at 1 inch. So you've got 4 of them and you've scored them all on the long side at 1 inch. Then you need pattern paper that is 6 3/8 by 1 3/4. And the reason being is you only put the paper from there to there. So you're not having it over the top of that score line. It's just going from there down to there. And the only other thing that you need, things that you need actually, is for the bottom, which is this bit here, you need to cut yourself 3 pieces of 2.5 by 2.5. So that's 3 pieces of your cardstock. And then to decorate the top here, you need 1 piece You need one piece that's 1 3/4 by 1 3/4, and you need 4 pieces that are 1 3/4 by 3/4 of an inch. So 1 3/4 long, 3/4 of an inch wide, and they're the ones that will sit inside there. Underneath there, you just leave those. So you just burnish these 4. Burnish them both ways because they actually are going to fold back like that. And then if you bring in your pattern paper and you bring it pretty much up almost to the top, so you've just got a little thin area at the top and the bottom, and you've got the same sort of width at the sides. So you just carry on and do all 4 the same. Okay, so there's your 4 done, ready. Now what you're going to do is you need to get a bend on these cards, like this bit here. Now some people do it with bone folders. I've got quite big hands, and so my thumbs do quite a good job without getting definite folds in it. So I tend to, it's just breaking the fibres down so it's on a bend. So I tend to do it with my thumb and finger, but if you've got smaller hands, then bone folders are fine. But what I like to do now is, because I've got a bend on it, and what I do is I'll bring my box in and I'll go, right, okay, how much of a bend do I want? So that's got to stay flat there, and that's got to stay flat there, because you're bringing that up to join the bottom, you're bringing that down, so you've got a bend like that. So depending on how much bend you want, so I am going to bend all of them, and then so they're evenly bent, I put them all together. So when I've got them all bent, but you can see some are bent more than others, so then I put them all together, make sure they're lined up together, so I'm only getting, and I bend them all at the same time, so you're going to get an even bend on them. And I guess you can, I'll just check it, I guess you can do that with a bone folder. Yep. I just do it with my fingers, as I said, because I've got quite big hands. And see that they're bent pretty evenly. So then what you want to do is, you want to come in with some tape. Now I've used ½ inch, let me just check I've used ½ inch. Yeah, I've used ½ inch tape. So you put a strip at the bottom. I guess you could do it with liquid glue, but I want to know that these sides are going to stay where I put them, and so I choose to use tape. But as I've said in many of my videos, you know, everybody has favourite glue, so you use the glue that you find the best. I mean, this is really only decorative, Oh, Boda's little friend's come back now. Maybe he'll stop screaming. Just clip-clopping past my window. Yeah, so these sides are only decorative. They're not going to be holding any weight, or they're just for decoration of the box. So, you know, I'm sure liquid glue would work perfectly well. It's just that I choose to use tape. If you are using liquid glue, again, I would say put probably ½ inch of glue just at the bottom and the top, underneath the score line at the top. There's your score line. You just want it underneath so that it sits like that. So you can hear now Boda's gone quiet because his little friend's just gone back up to the yard. So hopefully we won't hear any more from him. Say hopefully. Right. So now all your pieces look bent, and also with tape. Obviously, if you're going to use liquid glue, then you're going to do these one at a time. But because I've used tape, I can tape them all up. So then what you're going to do is, this is the front of my box. I'm going to come in with, I'm going to take the tape. I'm only going to take it off the top at the moment because I don't want this accidentally sticking in the, I don't want this accidentally sticking in the wrong place. So I'm just going to take it off. And you want it up to the top of that box, but not onto the lid. Okay, so get your box there, line it up, don't stick it onto the lid, line it up to the top of the box, and there, and then push it down like that. So that's the first one. And then you take the bottom off, or you glue it and you do exactly the same, but you do it down the bottom. So it bends up because you want it to go side to side and to the bottom. You don't want it to go over the bottom because you're going to be sticking a bottom on, like a platform for it to sit on. So you don't want it to go over, just up to. And then if it's liquid glue, you'll need to just hold it, you know, for a little. So there's your first side on. And then you're going to turn it. And you're going to bring your next one in. And exactly the same, just don't get it attached to the lid, just up to the top of the box there. That one there. Exactly the same. Take this tape or pop liquid glue onto there. Down to the bottom. There. So then you've got your second one on there. And literally just do that all the way round. So here's the other side, and we've got our sides on. So all we have to do now, well, there's a couple of things to do now. So first of all, where's the front? There's the front. So I'm going to, this is where your 1 3/4 by 1 3/4 will sit on the top of there, and your 1 3/4 by 3/4, the 4 of them, will sit there, like that. So we'll just go ahead and stick those on. Again, use the glue that is your favourite. It's only for decoration. It's not going to be carrying anything heavy. The actual box inside is what's going to be carrying anything. So I think I'll just quickly stick this with liquid. The thing with liquid glue is it gives you some wriggle room. So if you pop it on and you think, oh, I just want it a little bit over that way or that way, it gives you the chance to move it. You just have to make sure you keep your fingers on it for a few seconds so that it grabs onto the card. See, Bodhi's gone very, very quiet now because his little friend's back. Oh, I just said that, and I don't know if you caught it on the camera, on the video, but he's just whinnied. So whether Dink is now being brought back to the field and he's seen him, I don't know. But just as I said he'd gone quiet, he said, no, I haven't. I think you'll probably agree this box it looks spectacular, but it really is very easy to put together. Pop the last piece on. That's what I mean about squidging. Just get the so here's the front. So you want your ribbon to tie up at the front, because you know, looking at it, you wouldn't know where's the opening. But if you put a ribbon and tie it here and put the message here, like I did here, then you know that it's there. So we're just going to finish it off now and come in with some old olive ribbon, and it actually coordinates with the paper. So as part of the suite that Stampin' Up! Do suites of, so you get stamp sets, you get matching pattern paper, and in this suite you had matching ribbons for the suite. So you had terracotta tile, which was that colour, the orangey colour, and then you had old olive, which is the same colour as this, and the cardstock I've used. So I'm going to use a piece of the old olive ribbon, and this time I'm actually going to use, instead of on this one I used basic white, but I'm actually going to use Very Vanilla, which is a beautiful deep cream colour cardstock. So I'm going to, because I think the green and the cream look beautiful together. So I'm going to go from the back. It's easier to tie the ribbon. Again, this is just for decoration. So you tie the ribbon and just point the ends both sides like that. So I'm just going to get my glue dots and pop a glue dot at the back of the ribbon so that it doesn't move around all over the place. So that's stuck on there. I don't want to stick it all down because I want to tuck some ribbon through when I do the little label. I just want to stick some through. So I'm going to bring in the old olive ink. The Fancy Phrases stamp. Which one is it? That one there. Just line it up on my grid paper. So I'm just going to double check that this is the punch. I'm just going to double check this is going to be wide enough. Yes, it is. Okay. I'm going to ink this up. So I've inked that up now. I'm going to pop it down here. Then I'm just going to bring the punch in, line up the punch around the words. When I'm happy with it, just punch it out. So I'm going to just bring in my little hole punch and pop a little hole in this blank bit here. So I'm just going to bring in some linen thread, so just keeping in with the more natural looking colours. Don't need much of this. So if you buy linen thread or anything that's on a card like this and you've got that definite bend in it, so I just hold it and you can just with your fingers pull it out. There, now you don't have that bend anymore. So I'm just going to pop this through, put it together, pop it through the hole there. And bring in there. So because I haven't got this stuck down at the sides, the ribbon stuck down, I've only got a glue dot at the moment on there. That's Bodhi's little friend coming back now, so hopefully we'll have a happy Bodhi. Just tucking that where I tied it down behind the bow. So now you've got your label on, and the last thing that we need to do is to put this little base that it sits on the bottom. So all you do is you need 3 pieces of cardstock that are 2.5 by 2.5, 3 pieces. You want to glue them together. So get your liquid glue. Again, not too close to the edges. Stick that one on. And then pop the last one on. So because this is the one that's going to be facing uphill like that, so just make sure that there's no blemishes or anything on the cardstock that you would rather that was not showing. So now you bring in, turn your box upside down, so you put glue on the smallest part, so you're going to put the glue on here and put this to that. So pop your liquid glue. Again, I would definitely use liquid glue because you've then got the wriggle room, so that you can make sure that it's completely level. You're not got hanging over one side a bit more than the other. So you're going to pop that on there like so, and then you're just going to turn it over just to make sure that all your sides, your front and your back, look pretty much how you want them to look. Don't forget, with liquid glue you definitely have got a little bit of wriggle room. And that's your box finished. Got your little plateau for it to sit on, so it's level. The natural colours are very vanilla with old olive stamped ink stamped on, old olive ribbon, and all the cardstock's old olive, and this is an old olive background with gold through. And there's your box, all finished and ready. So I hope you've enjoyed the project. I hope you make one of your own, and I would love to see them. Any ones that you make. I'm on Facebook as well, Jilly's Creative Corner on Facebook, so you could post any pictures on my Facebook page to show me what you've made. Social media. I'm just learning about social media, so I've got an Instagram page too. So that's Jilly's Creative Corner for all those. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.